Welcome to Another Look, a film podcast where we go back and discuss a filmmaker's body of work, from their hits to their misses, and even forgotten films, as well as genres, eras, movements, and everything in between. In this week's episode, we're going to look back at an era of filmmaking called New Hollywood. I'm Ian Killian.
Jordan Mushino.
Nick Creekbaum.
Ben Riley.
So, hope everyone had a nice week. But we're going to go over what we watched. I recently watched Don't Breathe, a horror movie that I saw in a really nice theater with Chris Davis. It was a good time.
Where at? In York?
In York. He met.
Which one?
It was, I don't remember what it's called. It was like the Family Center or something weird like that.
Did you just go up just to
yeah.
hang out?
Well, I had training for work.
Oh, you were already up there.
They had a...
But there was like lazy boy seats and stuff. It was sick.
Yeah,
oh, really?
luxury
What
seating.
brand? Or not...
It was like
What
a
chain?
corporation. It was a very small chain. It wasn't like a big one.
Oh, they Don't Breathe in that one?
Yeah.
I know they have a...
It was
well,
awesome.
whatever.
But I really enjoyed the movie. I thought it was very stressful. It's
very tense.
because you can put yourself in those situations. I thought
Very run-of-the-mill.
I see. I disagree. I think it's better than
think-
Evil Dead. I think
His own Evil Dead.
I'm not,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
haven't
yeah,
seen
yeah,
Evil
yeah.
Dead.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the
Fetty
remake in a
Alvarez.
while. No, I've
Yeah.
seen it, but I haven't seen it since
Yeah.
it came
It
out.
depends
so.
on what mood Ben's in. If he's in a certain mood, he'll agree with you guys. But if
You
he's
love
in a
to throw me under the
if
bus
he's in
for
a
no
different
reason.
mood,
He
he'll
knows.
actually be honest.
knows
You
with
know
you.
everything about me, but
knows his
He'll
actually
say
nothing
that
at
Evil
all.
Dead is actually a better movie. Like, I would agree.
But I like this is more my thing. I think I don't know. I
like them both.
thought it was directed very perfectly. Like he had control the whole time of.
So you think that guy is a superior new up and coming?
He's a good
director?
new
He's
director.
exciting. Yeah.
Okay.
I was even excited about this movie, even though I didn't like Evil Dead that much. The remake that he
See,
did.
that's
Because I was
the
like,
thing.
I think the idea is just so fucking cool.
Not trying to get off on a tangent about Evil Dead because it's kind of irrelevant, but I don't understand why everyone dislikes the remake
they?
of that so much. I feel like everyone's like,
I feel like people were more surprised that they liked it more than most remakes get. Like a Poltergeist remake, you know what I
Oh,
mean? Like
shit, I
that
didn't even
just
see that.
came and gone. Like,
Yeah, I didn't even see that.
I would agree with people liking it more than like the same run-of-the-mill remake, but I don't think that it's good because Evil Dead sets you up with the premise where you can basically just go wild on screen
Yeah.
and literally go nuts and throw everything. You know what I mean? And I don't think this one does that well. It is has some amazing
You're talking about Evil Dead?
effects.
remake,
Yeah, the remake. But like, it's not that fun. You know what I
see,
mean?
I
There's
disagree. I had a lot of fun during it.
Like, the only badass part of the entire movie is at the end.
But I thought the gore and everything.
The gore was
the stuff
good.
was so intense that was happening.
But
and
I just didn't care. It didn't do anything for me.
I think the idea
I think Don't Breathe is superior.
Oh, without a doubt. I think every
The darkness scene. Did you see it, Ben?
Yeah.
Okay. The darkness scene is so awesome with like.
Oh, the night vision.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah,
but
that-
I
that's
saw
cool.
that in Silence of the Lambs, and I thought that did
It's-
it so
but it-
much better.
But it's okay. I mean that's fine. But I just think
That particular scene.
I just thought it was very very stressful.
Wait, who's blind in Silence of the Lambs?
No,
It just means
nobody's-
the
They turn off
like
the lights,
dark.
and he put.
No,
Buffalo
I know,
Bill
but
puts
who's
on them.
is Buffalo Bill blind or can he see?
No, he can see.
It's just the lights are off.
Exactly. So you don't think there's an element added to what they do in Don't Breathe where the blind man is taking advantage of the fact that they can't see and he's the one who is aware of his surroundings?
Oh, the
Yeah.
part when he's like running and he's like touching the things because he knows that basement very well.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
it's
So
nothing
good.
different to him.
The only thing I didn't agree with is like, what was he capable of?
Yeah.
Like his capabilities were a little like flimsy, but that's just small picky shit.
If they wouldn't have had that twist in that movie, I would have
See, I
I
think-
would have notched it up
I
a
think
half
that
star.
made it more sinister. It made him.
It is pretty
made,
fucked up.
It made him more evil.
Sinister. Okay,
It's interesting because
I laughed at it though. I laughed at the twist.
I thought the
you
sperm
could say
part
it's
was
a-
gross.
You
It's
could
a little
yeah,
it is
unnecessary.
you
Yeah.
could say it's a little silly.
I just thought it was
But-
too much of a stretch, but
I don't think so. I honestly think if you didn't include that, it would be a very well-directed genre exercise. And then when you include that, it makes it about something. It makes it more fun. It adds gravity to his character who does not talk at all besides, one line before that.
Yeah. Then
It gives him something. It gives him purpose.
Yeah, he's
You
really
understand
good
why.
with
Yeah.
limited what he does.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's nonstop. It does have false endings, but I kind of loved that because like you're always because it
You
just
get
kept going. It
yeah,
became
tense
it was
up.
so
It is
badass.
nonstop.
Yeah.
I liked him better in Conan. I know who you are, Conan. Stephen Lang.
Jordan?
Is that the original?
No, the remake. He's the villain
Okay.
in the
All
remake.
right, I don't care.
What did I watch?
yeah, what did Jordan want?
I can't even remember what it's called. That I'm thinking Hacksaw Ridge because Mel Gibson, but it's Bloodfather.
shit.
I didn't watch Hacksaw Ridge,
Oh.
obviously.
Oh,
It's
shit.
premiering at Venice like this weekend, so we'll
Oh,
that.
shit.
we'll have reviews very soon.
see
Nick
that.
was so stoked for you.
But I watched Bloodfather, which stars Mel Gibson, and it's basically
I want to see this.
the standard run of the Mel Gibson versus the cartel, and the cartel is pretty stupid. You know, it's like
That's
teenagers.
okay.
Yeah, I thought it was okay. The movie's pretty fun, but it really is typical. You know, not all that different than Taken, but it has like a different vibe and atmosphere.
Well, it's rated R. That automatically notches it up a peg. from
Wasn't the
Taken.
first Taken rated
No.
R? Wasn't it?
No,
Who cares?
I do.
I'm only talking about plot wise. I don't think like it was directed in a similar style.
Was
It's
it?
just a
Was it better because he could say fuck and Liam Neeson couldn't?
Yes.
No.
Was it explicit? Was there a lot of explicit violence in it?
I don't remember it, to be honest, and I just watched it the other day. It's not a very memorable movie. I just had fun seeing him. Honestly, I had fun seeing William H. Macy stand up to the cartel.
Oh, I did. I
yeah,
didn't know
yeah,
he was in it.
he was cool. And
Oh yeah.
Mel Gibson, who is that guy? Michael Parks, the Red State guy.
Yeah.
He was in it as
Red
a.
State.
He's good.
Yeah, he is good. He was like a neo-Nazi scumbag kind of
Oh
thing.
shit, I like that stuff.
But he's an idiot in the movie. I loved when he died. Spoiler alert. Sorry,
Spoiler.
Nick.
Do they try and say this is like a comeback for Mel Gibson again?
Uh,
Because
to-
he's been acting. It's not really like.
I guarantee it won't be a comeback for him. I haven't heard shit about this movie.
And it just went to on demand.
yeah. I'm surprised you haven't heard shit about
well,
it.
remember I initially
you haven't
saw the
heard
trailer.
buzz. You haven't heard
Yeah, I
buzz.
haven't heard anything.
I actually see a lot of buzz. To me, I kind of what's that one movie that I'm not that hot on that everybody is, that Western with Patrick Wilson.
The zombie or the cannibal movie.
Bone
Tomahawk.
Bone Tomahawk. Bone Tomahawk. I actually takes itself a lot more seriously, but I kind of hold them in a similar esteem.
I don't know if Bone Tomahawk takes itself that serious. I think that's
I haven't seen the whole
another
thing of that movie.
conversation.
Well, it does in the way that it takes like an hour and a half to develop a story that's very simple.
I think maybe one reason they do that is, that's the genre of like
Yeah, but exploitation is the
epic
other
West.
genre
Yeah.
it uses, which kind
Yeah.
of goes against that.
yeah,
you know?
exactly.
And
So-
make no mistake, that ain't no Patrick Wilson movie, my friend. That's a Kurt fucking Russell movie.
That's true. He's so good in it. Too bad you didn't finish the movie, so you can't
I didn't
say
finish the
that.
movie.
Actually,
I
haven't
told
seen
you
it
you
yet.
wouldn't finish it.
It's so long.
Yeah, no
I don't-
kidding.
It is long, but it doesn't. To me, it didn't feel long.
I thought it was boring.
I think
as hell.
I think the first 20 minutes feels long, but once they're there, I think it's very exciting and fun.
Just slow build into.
I think so.
There's a couple
And
brutal
it's-
scenes at the end,
and
but
it's-
they're few and far between.
And I don't think it's not like a build. The slow parts aren't building to anything, unfortunately. It's not like it's using it for like
to get somewhere.
atmosphere. It's just like they're getting their shit around and they're showing the characters.
yeah.
So Nick, what did you watch?
I got on a Paul Verhoeven kick over the weekend, and I
Oh, really?
watched. Yeah.
What'd you watch?
Uh,
L?
No, I didn't watch any of his bullshit from the France and whatever. I watched RoboCop, and then I watched Starship Troopers, which was a rewatch, and I absolutely loved it again.
I'm
And
glad.
if you guys haven't seen it, it's definitely worth
It's been a while.
a
for me.
rewatch.
It was a kid's
I've
movie.
never seen it.
Explicit gore, everything
The
about
shower scene.
Yeah,
Did Riff Tracks do a thing on that?
yeah.
And it played in theaters.
Yeah, I
think.
remember it came to Williamsport.
And the movie didn't take itself seriously. It was
No.
definitely satirical,
Yeah.
and it was definitely fun. So I don't know what riff tracks needed to.
I think.
What are you
it's,
talking-
it's,
poking
an easy,
fun at
it's an
it.
easy target.
That's what they do.
Oh.
They poke fun at
yeah,
movies.
but don't they poke fun at movies that are not supposed to be funny?
I think maybe some
Both?
people think
it's real.
they do
serious.
Sharknado and shit though.
Yeah.
Oh, do they? Okay,
Yeah.
well then obviously.
Exploitation movies.
Okay,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was great.
I'm glad you enjoyed that. Ben, what did you watch?
Me and Ian last night went to the campus theater in Lewisburg and we saw Blue Velvet I guess on a Blu-ray, not
I
a
thought-
35 millimeter.
Yeah.
film.
Are you sure it was a Blu-ray?
No, it wasn't. I
Wasn't it?
don't know.
I don't know what it was then.
It
But
was the
looked and
30th
sounded
anniversary.
really good.
It was a Blu-ray,
Okay.
How
and I
do you
have
know?
it on my shelf right now. That's why I didn't.
I
go.
I'm
probably
sure-
have it too. But
So you
why I
think
didn't
it?
go.
So it looks better on your TV?
Probably
on your what 55?
How do you know it
inch?
was a Blu-ray?
because it said digital transfer.
Do you work at campus theater?
Th-
Well, if
What-
it was DVD, then I'm definitely glad I didn't fucking.
How do
go.
we
It
play
looked
movies?
good.
How do we play movies at the theater?
I have no
What
idea.
are they?
Oh,
They're
they're ingested digitally.
Yeah, they're digital transfers.
Yeah,
Okay. So why do you think it was a Blu-ray?
because I probably saw the fucking menu pop up on the
no,
screen
no,
and it said
actually,
play.
no.
No, it's the movie.
Well,
just
I've seen a
started.
movie there before at the campus, and it did
Well,
that.
Well,
when we
last-
saw the Wilder people,
They
they paused it to get on the mic and say the soda tap's working again. So
The soda machine's ready.
we're like, okay,
They
thanks
need
for
that.
the info.
They need that revenue.
But no, I thought it sounded good.
I don't have a lot to say about it. I think it's a masterpiece.
Speaks
dare
for
I
itself.
I
Speaks for
yeah.
itself.
when we first started, like I saw it probably senior year of high school, but I remember us in college being in a huge stage with it and
You
talking
jerked
about
off to it then, and hell, you probably jerked off to it now.
and we were really in a big stage with it, and I probably haven't watched it since. And I was just like, it's like a 4 out of 5 for me. It's pretty good, and I was just fucking engulfed.
Dennis
in it.
Hopper is so scary.
Yeah,
I think.
it was man. It was like a fire burned up inside me for David Lynch again. I was
Jeffrey Beaumont.
I got really excited. Yeah.
The dude can direct the shit out of anything.
Mhm.
Even the opening scene, like the juxtaposition between like the what is it, like a milkman and like a white picket
The
fence,
fire-
and then
fire- yeah.
Firefighter,
Yeah.
he's waving
that
with
opening scene,
a
looks
Dalmatian. Oh,
yeah,
it's so
and
good.
how it like goes into the like
great. The ear,
what?
the ear,
the
The
ground,
Yeah,
Yeah.
not
Or
before
the
the, ear,
ground,
before
yeah.
the
It's
ear
like
with
the
like the bugs. Yeah.
and then like the noise stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, like
it
the
was-
descent, like the suburban underbelly, you know, stuff like that.
It was
I'm
awesome.
just very glad to see it in the theater.
Yeah,
It was
same here.
sweet.
I wish I could have been there.
I'll watch it on my TV.
Your TV.
I
is
have
not
that
the
Blu-ray
same.
too. If it's the last
Do
one
you?
they released.
Yeah, I have the Blu-ray.
Good.
It was $2.
It has, like, the
Who gives
kind
a
of-
shit?
Oh, it's $2.
I think I have the DVD from you when you bought the Blu-ray. You gave me
Oh
the.
yeah.
He did that to me for some.
I have
movies
your
too.
scratched up Miami Vice.
Well, think about it. That's $2 extra added on to the cost of you paying for it on fucking Blu-ray. That's a waste of money.
But he loved the
Not doing
experience.
Did
Yeah,
he love
it's
the
not-
experience?
I-
Good for him.
Were you not listening to me?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about New Hollywood. Jordan, you wanna let us know what New Hollywood is for the people that don't know who it is or what it is?
Sure. The American New Wave, or more specifically, the New Hollywood era, is a period in history in which the audiences grew tired of the big bloated musicals and epics like Hello Dolly and Cleopatra, and started craving something against the grain. It's an era responsible for what is generally known as the best period of American cinema ever, and propelled the careers of directors such as Robert Altman, Hal Ashby, William Friedkin, Brian De Palma, John Cassavetes, Terrence Malick, Sidney Lumet, Michael Cimino, Francis Ford Coppola, Martin Scorsese, and many, many more. Stylistically inspired by the work of François Truffaut and Jean-Luc Godard in the French New Wave, as well as other international movements, the movies of the New Hollywood era were considerably more experimental in technique and approach, and deep-rooted and informed by the ever-growing counterculture movement and the ongoing Vietnam War. The movies of the New Hollywood era were considerably more experimental in technique and approach, and deep-rooted and informed by the ongoing Vietnam War and ever-growing counterculture movement. The movies took thematic risks that at an earlier time would be unacceptable. It brought a rawer, realer cinema that often seemed more morally questionable than the cinema of an earlier time.
In this month's Another Look, we'll be talking about the American New Wave and 4 movies that shaped it, from its exciting early inception to its egotistical, overblown demise. On this episode, we'll be talking about the early days of the American Wave with our take on Bonnie and Clyde. Bonnie and Clyde was directed by Arthur Penn, written by David Newman and Robert Benton. It was released in 1967, and it kicked off the American New Wave movement. It stars Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway as the titular Bonnie and Clyde. The plot synopsis is that a somewhat romanticized account of the career of the notoriously violent bank-robbing couple and their gang. Rotten Tomatoes score of 88%, an average rating of 8.2 out of 10.
What'd you think of it, Ben? You have anything initial thoughts?
I enjoyed it. I mean, I didn't really know what to expect. I feel like some of it felt,
Yeah,
It was your first time seeing it?
yeah.
What did you expect, like for a movie like this?
I think there was more comedy, like comedic stuff in it than I was kind of expecting.
Yeah.
Some of it was kind of goofy, but I definitely like between watching the two movies we watched for this time, they're not similar, but they also feel like I can tell they feel
that from that era.
like the plot has nothing like
you
the
can
plot,
you can kind of understand how history affects
those
these
kind
movies.
of movies. Yeah.
Yeah. For Bonnie and Clyde, I watched twice.
Did you?
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen it a while ago, probably blockbuster days. In the mail, my dad probably got this and was like, "This is bullshit," not watching it. But no, I saw it twice again recently. I really love it. After I watched it the first time, like going into it, I didn't expect to like it as much as I did. But yeah, the way it flows, and it's just like it's still mysterious. It's still very like ambiguous with like the whole like Clyde is the whole homosexual aspect of, is he homosexual, is he just not attracted to her?
Yeah.
Do you actually think he's homosexual?
See,
Could be repressed.
I really think
hard
maybe
to say.
because there's not a lot of evidence in the movie itself.
I know a little bit about this
But-
because I read half of that Easy Riders Raging Bulls book.
But like the background
half?
of they
Yeah.
wanted to do
Only half.
They wanted to do have a three-way with CW, Bonnie, and Clyde, and they cut it because they thought it took things away from the story.
Well, I definitely didn't buy their romance by any means.
Well,
I think that's a huge thing it sells. I think their chemistry is great.
no, they have good
I'm
chemistry.
very surprised that you said that.
Yeah, I mean,
They're honest, they're like this scary duo. I think, like, he honestly almost reminds me of like a cartoon character. Like when he smiles, it's
The
like,
part when he's driving
yeah,
and
he's
the
like
lights on his face,
Oh
and,
yeah,
and like they got fucked up. They got like shot at, and like Gene Hackman's like bleeding from his head, and like
movies didn't show stuff like that
Yeah.
before this one, where people were shot up. This was like the most brutal thing you would see. Every movie before that was like that bloodless kind of
yeah.
that was
shooting.
probably my favorite part about the movie, how it shifted in tone with the pretty explicit violence for that time.
Yeah, I think that's you can't look away.
Right.
I mean, and with history, like how the movie's gonna end because of like the history of it, but it's still very blunt
the
and
end-
it's very brutal.
The
Yeah,
end
it's
is
fucked
amazing.
up.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, this is how much I didn't know about. This
You
is how
didn't know
much I
that
don't
happened?
know about history, but I had no fucking clue that happened at the end. I didn't.
I mean, you
Well,
don't learn it in school.
No.
Really,
The interesting thing about this movie is that Bonnie and Clyde feels really, really old to us. But when it came out, what year was it? 67?
67.
So this is like
When it
almost
came-
50 years old.
When
Yeah.
it came out, it was only 35 years after Bonnie and Clyde existed.
Oh
It's
yeah.
weird to think
You know what
of.
I mean?
Yeah.
So if you put that context into it, it's really strange to think
people
about.
are old enough to.
That was a amazing kind of like the media that it brought the attention to was like very exciting to people.
Yeah.
People didn't see these things, or people. It's pretty disgusting, what they do, like taking pictures of cops
like,
and
tied up and shit. Yeah.
But speaking about Clyde Barrow's possible homosexuality, is I think it's just impotence.
Yeah.
To be
That's
to
what
be honest,
initially
and
what I thought, but then I read that.
he does have sex later in the movie with her, and
Yeah,
he's
finally.
like, and he was like, "Oh, I'm good at it," like real happy about
Yeah.
it.
It just seemed like he wasn't really interested in having sex, and it just wasn't working
He was pushing
for him.
her off the whole time, and then just
Yeah.
but I did
His
feel
gun,
like
his gun was his dick.
Yeah,
literally.
yeah, and I mean, movies have done that before.
Yeah.
Like Gun Crazy.
Yeah.
That's a whole thing with like sex and violence, like Night of the Hunter. When he's watching like the burlesque show, and like he has a switchblade in his pocket, and he's watching like these hot ladies dance around, and he like it goes off in his pocket, and it's like him having a boner, or just shit like that. But I don't know. But Nick, I did think their chemistry was good. Why didn't that sell for you?
Probably for the literal sense that you guys have already talking about, how he like.
So he didn't have sex with her, so he doesn't love her?
No. Like I didn't feel romantic connection between the two.
Do you not see the excitement that they bring to each other, though? You can't
Well,
understand
that's
that
the
on
thing.
this.
Like as soon as it was no question, I'm going with this guy. Didn't know anything.
The
about
beginning
him.
That
did
shit-
kind of feel kind of
rushed.
rushed a
I
little
feel
bit.
like that shit kind of happened.
Oh yeah,
maybe
like
it
think
did.
about
I don't.
think about put yourself in their shoes and think about what was her job? I think did they mention
She worked.
Waitress.
she was a
Waitress.
waitress, and
Yeah.
she got home. She would waitress and then come home and be bored to death. Even the C.W. Moss character just wants to go instantly because he's just so fucking bored out of his mind.
At
You know, these
gas
people.
station.
These people are like in dire need of excitement in their life, and he brought it to them. You know what I mean? He would just take what he wanted, and you could tell there's a kind of sensibility that goes across the country at this point, and their frustration with banks.
Oh,
And-
there was definitely
and-
like a huge
And
anti-establishment
that's
feel.
also
Yeah, I like
part
that.
of it that attracts these people to them. Obviously, we've heard girls are attracted to bad boy type
yeah.
things, and that's an element
That's
here.
why I'm
You
wearing
know
this
what I
leather
mean?
jacket right now.
Yeah, I'm sure that might be a historical fact that's how she joined him. I know that
Yeah.
Warren Beatty added the impotence, her homosexuality thing
Yeah.
to make his character more interesting.
And
that is
adds
that is a
depth. That
fabrication. It
definitely-
does.
Yeah,
It does.
it's not just like them, like public enemies.
Exactly.
You know, just
Exactly.
running around shooting.
Definitely feel what Natural Born Killers was influenced from that movie.
Oh
for
yeah,
sure.
totally.
I would say almost
The whole thing.
Yeah.
every movie since then with any violence.
Like Runaway.
Yeah.
Oh, for violence. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
every
without this
stylistically-
movie, there'd be no gritty.
I don't mean stylistically with Natural Born Killers. I
But-
mean,
You mean like the violent
Right.
Oh,
couple?
yeah, that's
Yeah,
it's
without a
modern day
doubt.
Bonnie and
Okay.
Clyde
Yeah.
story. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're actually had. I don't know, like, this is definitely hugely European influence.
Yeah, Jean-Luc Godard was actually
But
Francois
even
Truffaut and Jean-Luc Godard were supposed to direct it at one
But
point.
even like the stuff in it, like the violence. You know, the movies in the 60s, like, I know Japan had all these like Yakuza films that
Yeah.
had, violence and blood. So in America, the violence was sort of just like,
it was bloodless.
cartoon and
people would get
gangstery
shot
and-
and they would just fall over.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And this is at a point that I read Roger Ebert's review, and he pointed out that in the media, this was actually a movie he reviewed when he first became a film critic.
Yeah.
In the media, they would just talk about these waves of mass murderers and bank robbers like they were nothing, like gloss over them, like it wasn't important. And Bonnie and Clyde kind of add a realism to it because these people were in fact nuts and they were killing people. It took a lot. Some characters didn't seem to understand the effect they had on people. It's like they were just having fun.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like the C.W. Moss's dad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and like he's more concerned about getting his sons like thinking they don't care about him because his name's not in the paper.
Yeah, like it.
Like what does that
Like
mean?
the notoriety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Nick,
Did
did you not like this?
I'd give it a 3. I liked it.
Oh, okay. It just didn't like blow you away.
No,
Oh,
it
man.
was.
I just thought I was just engulfed with it. Just like the energy.
I think the fact
I
that it
liked-
didn't have a score. It did have a score, I guess.
it's just not
It honestly, I love it. It adds so much energy.
the music.
Yeah.
I didn't notice it.
Yeah,
I didn't notice it.
I did for sure. It literally like
one
every
thing-
time they would use shutter speed to make the
The one thing I did notice
action
was like
go
the
so fast.
editing.
Yeah.
I wrote her name down. Dee Dee Allen. She killed it. It's
Yeah.
so good. The scene when they first meet, when she's like, "You're not a bank robber" or something like that, and
he
he pulls
just
out his
goes.
gun,
Yeah.
and the way it cuts from his face to her face to the gun back to her face, and the end of the shootout when it like cuts from their faces to the bushes to their faces. It's just you could do that so boringly, just showing the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, that might work in a different type of movie, but it just it added surprise. It adds I just love how it was put together.
Yeah, to me, in terms of craft, it's exceptional, especially for its time.
Yeah.
And it is so brutal and kind of like wild,
Yep.
It's not like the formal type of filmmaking we've seen before it that's just so tight. It
Yeah.
definitely feels looser than that. What do you guys think about the sequence where Bonnie Parker goes back to visit her mom?
Oh, when it's and that definitely changed. It doesn't feel like that part of the movie or like
Yeah.
a part of the movie.
Yeah.
It-
It feels pretty separate.
yeah.
Kind of.
It's I don't even know what to.
Is it a dream?
It does feel very daydreamy.
Like it's like hazy.
And it's like the point I think in which she first realizes that her life is over. You know what I mean? Like she can never go back home.
Oh,
What she wants so much
yeah,
is
yeah.
gone. But tonally, I do see how it could be like a misstep because it felt so strange.
I think it feels strange, but I think with a movie like that, it's all how a scene feels.
Right.
It's not, does it make sense like structure wise? I don't know. I think
Of course, these movies. That's a signature of this movement.
it's a portrait of that time. It's a portrait of these people running around. Gene Hackman, I thought, was hilarious in it.
Yeah.
Because he looked just like it feels
He
like
looks
he doesn't
the
age.
same.
Yeah.
Here's something to talk about too. Gene Wilder. This
Oh,
is his first movie.
I forgot.
Oh,
about
that was his first movie.
This is his first movie, and I thought he was amazing in it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's barely in it, but he is good for what
he's
he's
memorable.
in there for.
He does this remarkable thing where he's like just like insane inside. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's like so bordering on just like flipping out at all times.
Yeah.
Well, they
Especially
steal
in
his car, and
yeah,
he, like,
and he's terrified, and you
Yeah.
could tell he wants to do something about it, but he can't do anything.
yeah.
He does that like little high pitched like kind of thing.
Yeah, I personally really enjoyed the movie. It definitely how we were talking about how this movie reflects the culture. It's definitely anti-establishment. It's filled with violence and sex, which is part of that counterculture.
And another big thing is it makes the bad guys the good guys.
Yeah. So you
Anti-heroes.
feel bad
It
when they-
follows these
yeah.
rebels,
Yeah.
that you care about.
Yeah.
And I mean, I wouldn't say movies didn't do that, but it wasn't like
It definitely took it up a notch.
It definitely, yeah. They made them more human. They weren't just characters.
Yeah, these people are like
and they're supposed to be teens. They're supposed to.
Oh, in real life, are they teens?
They're younger,
Like young
Yeah,
adults.
Yeah.
So usually, like the gangsters are old, like ugly men,
Right,
that
right.
punch women, and
Right, for sure.
now it's just these like kind of lovable, younger people that you're following.
I have a question. What did you guys think about Blanche?
I was just about
She
to bring
won an
that up.
Academy
She
Award
annoyed
for
the hell
this.
out of me.
Did she? I
Yeah.
mean, I think she was supposed to be annoying, and she did that.
Yeah, for
Like
sure.
running out of the house with like a spatula. when-
chasing like.
Yeah.
I know
Gene
this movie
Hackman.
won Best Picture. Did anybody else win a?
It didn't win Best Picture.
Oh, it didn't. What,
It was nominated for
what-
Best Picture. It was Best Cinematography and Best.
What won
Supporting
Best
Actress.
Picture in '67?
I'm actually not sure.
It
It was
Something we'll have
nominated
to-
for
You
Best
used to know
Picture.
this stuff. You
I
used to just
know.
be like, boom, boom on the instant messenger
Well,
days. You used
I'll
to be
have
so
to.
good at it.
Yeah, I know. I'll have to look that up. But
It was nominated for like 10. It was not like all the
10?
actors
I didn't know
got
that. Wow.
a bunch of nominations, but Estelle
67.
Parsons, I believe her name is, who plays Blanche, she
A
won.
Man for All Seasons.
wait, '67?
Mm-hmm.
What? Hold on. What else was nominated?
Bonnie and Clyde.
Because I thought Man for All Seasons won the year 2001 was nominated, which came out in '68.
Yeah, but sometimes the Academy Awards are like,
Yeah,
The
the
movie
Academy
comes
Awards
out
always.
staggered.
yeah.
The Academy Awards is. This had a really weird release. It was released like 4 times before it made it big.
Wasn't even nominated for Best Picture according to the Oscars.org.
What?
A Man for All Seasons, Alfie, The Russians Are Coming, The Sand Pebbles, and Who's Afraid of Virginia
You
Woolf.
might be on the wrong year, though.
You
is
are.
what
It's
I'm
because
saying.
it's the next year. That's the. Yeah.
I was going to say, those sound like real great ones.
Well, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf is.
One of the best movies. It could have been one of the ones we talked about, and
Yeah.
I love that movie to death. But I'm glad you will.
Haskell Wexler shot that?
Yeah, he's one. Yeah, he
Wonder what
it
he's
has,
going to be
it
doing.
has real
later.
it has real bad cinematography.
That's it?
Yeah, man, it looks awful.
Bonnie and Clyde got nominated. Dr. Doolittle, The Graduate. Guess
Do you know
Who's
what
Coming
Dr.
to Dinner,
Doolittle
and In the
Dr.
Heat of the
Doolittle
Night.
is?
In the Heat of the Night 1.
Yeah, that's a Sidney Poitier
Yeah.
movie.
And I think
That's
Wexler shot that too.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
he was great.
Yeah.
We'll talk about him later.
Yeah.
There's plenty to say about him. But where are we at? Blanche? No, there is something interesting. I don't really know the competition of that
yeah,
year
that's
to
the
say.
competition
just to
is
say-
relative.
To me, it would feel random.
Yeah.
I'd be
Yeah.
like,
She
I
was like
surprised.
out of all the main players, I would have thought like some of the other people were better in their roles.
She has the hysterical role. She
Yeah,
has the
like
loud
the
one.
showy role.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she is interesting because she's the kind of the one who's forced to be a part of something she doesn't want to be. And it is interesting because Clyde Barrow is kind of like so sympathetic to all these people while being such like a sociopath.
Oh
at
yeah,
the same
like
time.
he
And
understands
that's
all of them. I believe. Like I don't.
yeah. Like he shows the part. They give us a great chance to like care about him as a character, even though he's so morally reprehensible.
Yeah, when he
He lets the guy at the banks keep his money.
Well, yeah, he wants to do that like
That's like the Robin Hood kind of
thing.
Yeah, exactly.
But I
yeah.
mean, he will fucking shoot a bank manager in the face.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. When the guy jumped on his
Yeah.
car.
Yeah,
that
that
took me
was
by
brutal,
surprise.
Yeah, and
that was brutal.
like he felt bad for like a little bit, but that didn't stop him from.
Yeah, he forgets.
Yeah.
Well, even when at the or towards the end when Bonnie and Clyde, I think it may have been after they slept together, they're talking about she like kind of wants to stop, it seems like, and then he is still like, oh well, we could go here and rob this bank. Like he's not willing to give it up. So you kind of know they're
horny for bullets.
Doomed for like their relationship unless they
they
bite
can't.
the dust.
They can't. They want two different things.
Yeah.
Now, Jordan, could you shoot a bank manager in the face?
No, I could not.
I'm gonna give this movie a 4.5 out of 5. I really love it. What about you, Jordan?
I will also give it a 4.5 out of 5, leaning towards 5. It's one of the best movies ever made.
Yeah.
You know. And I have no doubts.
And
about
it's super important.
Yeah, and super fun. You
Yeah.
know.
I will give it a 3.5 out of 5. I enjoyed it. I'm glad that I got to see it
Yeah.
because
it just wouldn't be something you'd pick up and watch.
I mean, if someone recommended it to me,
Yeah.
sure, but yeah, normally it's not something I probably would have just sought out.
I think the big, not speaking to you specifically, but I think it's always surprising when people watch older movies to see how actually just cool they are. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Because
You have to give them a chance.
And
and people always
and
get
without like watching any footage, you could just be like, meh.
yeah,
Just by the
Yeah.
what it's about, you know, Bonnie and Clyde. Like they made that fucking stupid Bonnie and Clyde History Channel
yeah,
show.
and for us, that's been
Yeah.
overdone to
Yeah,
death
it looks
at
fucking.
this point.
It looks stupid.
yeah. What about you, Nick? You said 3.
3 out of 5.
Yeah. So
I mean,
we're
we all liked it.
that's like one of the not one of the first, but one of few that we all
For
agreed
this
on.
kind of movie, I'm
yeah,
surprised.
I'm surprised. I could see Nick ripping it up.
Yeah.
I'd like to.
But I think it's
see
I
him
feel
try.
like that might be coming later.
I think it's violent enough to keep his attention.
Yes.
It kept your attention.
I had to cater to him.
Yeah.
If the tone shift wasn't there and it didn't have the
It's like the comedy
brutality,
stuff.
yeah, then I don't think I would have enjoyed it.
You don't like the kind of how they take light of this stuff, even as scary as it is? You don't think that's an interesting aspect? It makes them
No,
scarier?
Or are you just talking about like it being like a screwball comedy from the
Yeah,
60s?
There is some screwball
I
in
like
there.
the fact that it took risks and for the time period had that extreme aspect to it.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
its subject.
And I mean, Arthur Penn, he wasn't anything before. I mean, he was a TV director.
Yeah.
Then he made Night Moves with Gene Hackman later on, which is very sick, like not famous detective movie. Yeah.
I own that movie and I've been meaning to watch it.
It's awesome.
You own a lot of movies you've been meaning to watch.
I know.
And like for one thing, Bonnie and Clyde, like they felt like real people. And I don't think Warren Beatty is anybody else. I mean, he played many other people, but like when I think
that's
back,
what
I'm like, oh,
this is the movie that defined his career.
Yeah.
He to me, Jack Nicholson, those guys are the ultimate A-listers to me.
Well, that's interesting because those are the people that define this era.
Yeah. What do you like Warren Beatty in?
Not Reds. I couldn't get through that one.
I never watched
it either.
Well, I've knew him ever since I saw.
You just
Dick
like
Tracy.
you just knew him as a movie star.
Yeah, he
movie
just-
star.
He
Yeah.
feels so much like the stereotypical movie
Classic
star.
Hollywood movie star.
He's
Yeah.
more
Flashbulbs.
he's a classic
Bugsy,
Hollywood.
yeah.
He's a classic Hollywood player. He's like
Yep.
he's
Yeah,
a pushy
exactly.
guy.
He and Jack Nicholson go hand in hand to me.
Yeah.
He's
I
got a
think-
new movie coming out too. I saw.
Yeah,
Warren
that,
Beatty? Yeah.
He's directing.
we
a new
have
movie.
we have the bus shelter in our theater. I forget what it's called. Comes out at the end of the year. But anyway.
Yeah.
So I think we're gonna wrap up the Bonnie and Clyde, and we're gonna take a quick break.
All right, now we're going to talk about Haskell Wexler's directorial debut, Medium Cool, which effortlessly created a rawer narrative with its blend of documentary and drama. Medium Cool was written and directed by Haskell Wexler, released in 1969, starring Robert Forster and Verna Bloom. The plot synopsis is a TV news reporter finds himself becoming personally involved in the violence that erupts around the 1968 Democratic National Convention. Rotten Tomatoes score of 95% with an average rating of 8.1 out of 10.
8.1 out of 10?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Have you seen any movie like this ever?
This
I haven't, but I'm glad
Well-
because, oh my God, was I fucking bored during this movie.
Well, back to what we were talking about before, like with Bonnie and Clyde, when I started this, it definitely was not what I was expecting. If it's like the line is very gray between it feeling like a documentary or feeling like
Hey, you don't know who's a real person
Fiction.
or an actor? Or...
Yeah, exactly.
I thought Robert Forster was awesome in it.
I thought
though.
he didn't even look like because I'm so used to him
Yeah,
being
looks-
an
he
old
looks-
man. I was
he
like,
sounds
that doesn't
different,
even
too.
look
Yeah,
like
sounds
him.
I
different,
didn't
too.
recognize him, and then I saw who it was. I was like, oh,
He is sick. I like him.
he was awesome. He was good in it. So Nick, what were you complaining about? Before I listened to you complain, I want to say, I don't think you're the target audience because you don't give a shit about what's around you.
Well, I'll tell you what, I don't give a shit about anything in this movie because I would much rather watch Nightcrawler any day of the week.
Oh,
There
the
is
movie that's
Nightcrawler,
indebted to
yeah.
it.
That's
Yeah.
okay. That's okay.
Well,
Well,
that's just a little bit.
it's
of
just
that
like
whole-
the
of
if
the
it
whole-
bleeds, it leads type of journalism.
Yeah,
What would you don't think this movie is relevant?
Yeah, I do.
Well,
that still
So
doesn't.
you don't
doesn't
thi-
matter to me, no.
so what
No.
matters to you?
Not a whole lot in this movie, that's for damn sure.
But you didn't answer his question, really.
What matters to me?
Yeah.
We really want to go into this in the movie podcast? Nothing in the movie matters to me.
Okay, also not the answer, but we'll move on.
Just move on.
Yeah,
Okay.
you really didn't answer any of it.
Okay.
Jordan, what did you think of it?
I like it a lot.
Yeah.
To me, I could see why it's harder to get into, especially if
Of
it's
course.
not something you're used to. I've seen a few movies like this. I have the American Lost and Found, like the old Jack Nicholson movies that he directed and stuff like that, and even the older ones that he's in
Yeah.
are just like this.
Really?
They have
was
like
that,
a
was that pre this?
No, this is
Okay.
no. They're actually a little bit after because Jack
Okay.
Nicholson came into prominence more after this because
Mhm.
this is 69, I
Yeah,
think.
we're almost in the 70s at this point.
Yeah, yeah. So this is really kind of a thing that started it all. But honestly, some of the shots in here are amazing. The camera movement, that's stuff you do not see at all
Yeah.
at that time.
That's why you
It-
can't tell if it's like a documentary or not because
just-
there's lots of spots with no dialogue where he's just kind of going through wherever he's at. And
Yeah, even
like
the-
long takes.
They don't
Even
cut.
right at the beginning when the very first shot is amazing. When they go up to that
car
crash,
crash.
Yeah.
and they're just like investigating it before they call the police.
Yeah.
It blows my mind. These are topics that still are discussed all the time
Yep.
today.
Not much
and then,
has changed.
And then
Yeah.
they go into these conversations, which is kind of part of the experimental field because you hear the people talking about journalism and the media and how it affects things, and it cuts between people's point instead of an actual conversation. So it'll cut to different characters making a point about it, which is harder to get into. I could see that.
That totally took me out of it.
But that's setting up what it's about. Similarly to how Blue Velvet sets itself up with that juxtaposition to tell you what this movie's about, what you're getting into.
Yeah,
and
the
that's
first 5
exactly
minutes of,
that's
feeling.
exactly what Medium Cool does there. And I thought it was super interesting because I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to think about this for a
You're
second.
also, I mean, you're concerned about these things, social, political issues.
Right.
That's what you're into.
Right.
I think that stuff's interesting too, so that hooked me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it really, Wexler, you did it, man. You made me think.
It's definitely it's like a hard movie to watch, but I feel like multiple viewings of it could really
you can really pick.
get stuff out of it.
Yep.
They do
you
something.
guys think multiple viewings will help me out?
You probably not.
You won't. You probably didn't give it a shot after the first shot. So
Yeah.
I'm not.
Multiple viewings? I think I'll pass on those.
What made me think it made me think nothing changed.
In the
I know.
world, you mean?
Even
Yeah.
Do you think
Because-
like maybe
It's so relevant.
these movements were happening, these people wanted these changes of society, and maybe they changed a little bit and now they're going back down? I don't fucking know.
We're
It made me
looking-
like
yeah.
really feel fucked up.
we're looking at a character. It's interesting because in some ways the movie makes it seem like we're less progressive than they were. We're looking, you know what I mean? Because now instead of going on the streets, we're doing it from the internet. You know what I mean?
There is a protest riot kind of culture still, though.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But
I definitely agree. But that was their only choice then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There
That's
was
the
no internet.
Yeah, that was their only option to get their voice heard. And it was very hard. And even when Robert Forster character is going into that house to interview that guy about that human interest story, and they block him because they feel oppressed in a way that they can't get their point of view across. The media won't give them a chance.
I mean, the taxi guy?
Yeah, like he's going to talk to the taxi
Both
guy.
of them get blocked at the door.
Yeah.
Separately,
Oh,
though.
okay.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Because
Go ahead.
no. Go ahead.
I was going to take a complete different turn from what you were saying, so if you need to finish your point, go ahead.
You're talking about how minorities weren't represented.
Yeah,
or still aren't represented properly.
Exactly, and you can see the frustration in that lady's face who's saying it. It's like, look, you want to interview us, interview me, so I can get a fair treatment on the media because you're showing things that are wrong. And then later, there's a point in which he discovers that even his job, which he thinks he's doing in the best interest of everybody, is kind of curbed by corporate culture and stuff. When he finds who's giving them the money, who's in their pocket, it's like
they're giving the FBI their video footage.
Yeah. That's it.
The news footage they shoot at the protest stuff, and
right, exactly. And there's like a kind of a small level of corruption in there that's very disappointing.
And FBI wanted Apple to, you know what I mean? To unlock these phones. Like that's still the same fucking idea, just retreading with new technology.
Okay.
It's kind of depressing.
Yeah.
The part about this part about his relationship. Did you guys really give a shit about his relationship?
A little bit.
Because I did.
It's just a little. I don't know.
I don't think really
It really isn't the important part.
I didn't care about. No. It's not a character study. You don't care about these characters.
I think it's kind of used in a way to get us there. You know what I mean? It's these characters that we kind of see this through. You know what I mean? Like there needs to be some like human interaction.
Definitely.
I thought the ending felt kind of random, but it makes sense in the context of
ending
like
was my favorite part about the whole movie.
Well, I would hope so. It was real as shit because it was actually real. Yeah. We're talking about the riot, right?
I was talking about the car wreck.
Yeah.
Car
wreck. That was your favorite part?
Yeah.
What about it?
Like the fact that the point was proved pretty much because the people were driving.
They were just filming the car.
They were filming
the car wreck.
Yeah, the car wreck.
Okay, yeah. I see what you're talking about. I thought. Did you get the part where the camera was Haskell Wexler? That was the director, the guy that the camera was filming the whole accident and turned to the actual camera. Yeah. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, like that's not what I didn't like about this movie.
What about? I'm just gonna bring up another thing. What about when the guy, another cameraman says, "Watch out, Haskell, it's real."
Oh, I didn't even.
Yeah,
because they were
filming the real thing.
They were filming the actual.
That's the real.
Yeah, that was real.
Yeah.
And
I read that.
So it's literally
really cool.
a mix of narrative filmmaking and documentary filmmaking that makes it immersive in a different way. You know,
there's like what's the movie? Not The Look of Silence, but the one before that.
Act of Killing.
Act of Killing. Like this is like indebted. That whole mixture of that's loose narrative with actual plot because they were reshooting those movies and
that's interesting. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, that's what made me really think of that.
It's not that I don't think that this movie, shouldn't be appreciated or anything like that. I'm not personally a fan of documentary.
It was a hard
style.
watch for you.
Yeah, so I just could not get engaged with it. But I do appreciate the risks that it took and what it was trying to message it was trying to convey.
So that little plot line is nothing as a whole.
I don't think that's true necessarily because there's a whole aspect about her character specifically and how the Vietnam War affects her and her husband son that were lost. So it's stuff that's more tied to that time 100% than we are necessarily experiencing here. But I do think there's importance to that.
Well, I mean,
it's just not the message that carries over as much to us in terms of
I wouldn't say it's not important, I guess. It's just
It's like a means to an end.
Yeah, it's showing it's a device to show the bigger picture of what he wanted to show.
Right. But I don't feel like it's just a plot device. I think there's stuff there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think because you have to, similarly to Bonnie and Clyde, how it shows the aspect of how these things are affecting people. It picks a person.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like the one that they focus on. You know what I mean? And I thought it was really effective. I can totally see why this is not. It's because it basically feels like, I don't know, did a studio make this? Not all.
Not sure.
I don't know.
But it basically feels like an independent movie of the 60s. And how
Yeah.
many times do we watch independent movies from the 60s? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That psychedelic scene was kind of
The
cool.
club scene.
Yeah.
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 I mean, this movie was rated X.
Yeah.
Oh, was it? I
at
didn't
first,
know
yeah.
that.
Well, yeah, because that whole there.
Yeah, go ahead. Talk about what you want to talk
Robert
about.
Forster's dick. Was
Yeah, but that's like
exposed.
nothing. Like,
It's
is it
literally
X because of his dick, or is it X because there's cops like fucking bonking people on the
Yeah,
head?
for real.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that.
Who,
I
but
honestly
who knows? Who
I
fucking
don't know
knows?
because
Yeah,
that
why
might not
would
be
you
a
assume
reason.
that, because nowadays things are rated more for sexuality
Exactly,
more
yeah.
than violence. So
yeah.
And the thing to note about the part of why the new wave was created is because the MPAA came into prominence and got rid of like the old codes. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
that was a major shift in the cinematic landscape too.
I read a lot where people were saying this was like fairly like structureless, and I disagree.
Okay, that's kind of how
I'm
I
interested to hear.
felt.
I disagree just because I feel like it was like in an inverse. So it showed a car wreck in the beginning and in the end of different perspectives. One guy that we followed was in the car wreck. And
Who doesn't die if you listen to the radio talkover thing?
Oh.
They say he's in critical condition. The woman was dead at the scene.
And then they show the training of the National Guard, and but that was a fake training. It wasn't a real riot.
Mhm.
It basically before the very end, there's the real riot.
Yeah.
So there's like this mirror, at least these bookends, and I feel like that. I mean, it's not fucking chapter 1 structure.
No, it's not
but
structured
I
like
didn't think of
that.
it that way.
But there is. I feel like there is.
I didn't
like
think of it that way either.
There is a structure, a little bit of a structure, at least with it opening and closing.
It's definitely not structureless. There's definitely something.
Yeah, yeah.
Just think about how I feel that's interesting how you brought up the car wreck, because it does feel like an inverse in that
Yeah.
way. But I do feel like the end is so prominent because it is so random. It came out of nowhere.
Yeah,
Like
I wasn't
life
expecting
does.
it to end like
No.
that.
No, there's nobody in the world that would have expected
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean? Somebody who can see the future, and that's it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the intention,
Yeah.
to just throw you off.
Yep.
But it is interesting how to see these people protest these things so openly, including the military. When a person now can't even sit down during the national anthem,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And it's a big deal.
Yeah.
It blows my mind.
Yeah. It's
Depressing world we live in.
Yeah.
and I don't think. I mean, these images are still. I didn't feel unconnected to the people or the images of people getting hit and the riot. I did.
No, we do see riots still
So
a lot.
like
recently.
I'm not like callous over it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? It's
yeah.
still effective.
Right.
And I think people saw that maybe a little bit back then, but maybe not. Do you think they saw it less than we did?
On the news, you mean?
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't think so.
Because I think they saw horrible footage of Vietnam.
Yeah, yeah.
You
You
know-
don't think they saw the riots? Is what you
But
mean?
well, I'm just thinking about this violence to real.
I mean, the news
Right.
people were there, though.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
like part of it's
Yeah.
still what they do, filming.
Yeah.
Well, I feel
violence.
like part of the whole thing is how this is the first time that people saw how these things affected people.
Yeah.
They heard about it and or read about it, but that doesn't mean
Yeah.
anything, especially when somebody is not reacting to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you see somebody bloody or shot, it takes it to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's kind of like the whole Nightcrawler thing. If it bleeds, it leads. And I do think that movie, I do think the 60s in general are the first time that they started showing these things on TV.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also an interesting aspect. We don't even show some of that stuff on TV now.
No.
You know
Oh,
what I
no, no,
mean?
no,
So
no.
that's
It winds up on the internet, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We have the internet. We do
Yeah.
have the internet.
Yeah. Luckily, we still have. Because I feel like there was that scene where the people wanted to be on the news. The NBC camera car was driving through the riot, and people were, and it was leaving. It was going, and they're like, "Look at us! Look at us! Look at us! Look at us!"
Can be heard.
Only way their voice can be heard,
Yeah.
or
Unless they get violent.
Yeah.
Unless they push back.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they'll be ignored, and we see this all the time.
yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why they ignore the peaceful protests that happen in all of
And
these
there's
major
that-
cities
that-
until something bad happens.
That
and
it
then
gets
they make it
frustrating.
like these crazy people
Yeah.
are like and
It gets frustrating.
taking
yeah.
away their purpose.
and there's that strong monologue of that guy. He's talking to the camera, which he's talking to us about. That whole idea of when someone like me has a gun and I use it, you know who I am. But when I'm yelling, yelling for help or yelling for attention, for things to change, I'm invisible.
Yeah,
So
this movie brings up so many great points for its time. It blows my mind.
There's
Stuff that
race, gender, media, sex.
Exactly.
It's wild of how much stuff it covers.
yeah, and in such a loose structure,
Guns
Yeah,
with
gun violence.
Peter Boyle or whatever. What Nick has a lot to say about Peter Boyle.
I heard you are a fan of his. He also kind of relates to Gene Wilder.
Yeah,
Rather watch Peter Boyle and Taxi Driver.
I think
the Wizard.
you
Yeah.
may not have enjoyed watching this movie, but I do think you appreciated it. I do.
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah.
You know what? Do you like the way it looked?
No.
Do you like the way some of it looked? This is
No.
literally. I just want to put. This guy is a legendary cinematographer, like considered one of the best ever. Now, I'm not saying this is the movie because why?
Yeah.
Not at all. I'm not saying that because it's not true. But does that
He knows
interest
what
you?
looks good and what's
Yeah. Is that interesting to you?
Yeah.
It's like who's the Christopher Nolan director?
Wally
Pfister.
Yeah, Wally
Pfister.
Pfister. It's interesting how he made a movie that I didn't see, but it's
Transcendence.
which is
Awful.
bland, right? Which is
Awful.
it's a bland looking movie
One of the
too,
worst
right?
movies I've ever
Cinematographer
seen.
doesn't just mean that you can come up with a story and
Yeah.
all that kind of
And
stuff.
connect it
No,
all.
no, of
But
course.
you're saying
But I'm
bland
talking
looking.
about his the
Oh, you
visual
mean
style.
it's bland looking?
Yeah,
Okay.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like his cinematography's good too. Wally's.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
What's that new movie?
This guy
Dunkirk.
Dunkirk. Oh.
I can't
I
wait.
think it looks good.
Yeah, I think he's
Did you see Days of Heaven?
No.
Okay.
so blatantly no, and he's
No.
never going to unless
This is the guy who came on after what was his Nestor? There was a guy who died on the set, a cinematographer who died on the set.
Days of Heaven.
Yeah, David's Heaven, and
Yeah.
Haskell Wexler replaced
He was
him.
a Italian guy.
Yeah. It's he went blind or
Yeah,
something
yeah.
and died, but he didn't make that style. But he's the one who kind of helped develop it. He
The
actually got
Terrence Malick.
yeah, which is amazing.
People
to me.
call it the Terrence Malick. You know what I mean?
So
Which is just like bushes in the wind. So good for
Yeah.
you, Wexler.
yeah, Nate.
Every
Thanks,
time
what?
every time
No
I
one
say
gives him credit. The
every-
other guy shot most of the movie, but Haskell won the Oscar, which is a
Yeah.
big controversial thing.
every time I think of that, I hear that name. It just reminds me of like Resident Evil.
Wait, what name? Haskell?
Wex.
Oh,
I like have
Wexler?
to think about
Albert
it before I
Wesker.
say it.
Yeah,
Haskell
yeah.
Wexler.
So you actually thought his name was Hansel?
I legitimately thought his name was Hansel Wexler, and that's why I said Hansel and Gretel.
like
So-
no reason.
So does this watching this movie does it make you
Just open your eyes. Do you want to get to the
Are
streets?
you woke?
does it make you nervous for the next two movies?
Oh no!
Does
'Cause I
it-
know what the next two movies are.
Does it make you,
You do?
nervous?
'Cause
Does it,
I only know one of them.
Does
Called
it-
Sorcerer.
Yeah, that's
does
one
it,
of them.
does it make you nervous for
To explore Jack Nicholson's career more?
I was nervous to watch this movie because I did not think I would enjoy
you
it
were like
whatsoever.
I remember I saw you.
An
you were,
exact-
I was
shaking.
dreading it.
An exact text message from Nick. I asked him if he watched it. He's like, nope. He's like, I'm actually dreading it. So
That's hilarious.
That's
That-
why
that,
I
went
said
in.
that gets us really excited to do more podcasts with you.
I went in and said, "Fuck
Before
it."
we
After
even
I watched
watched
Bonnie
it.
and Clyde, I said, "Fuck it." I'm just
See,
gonna watch this one right
This
after to
this
get it over
is
with.
this is what I was worried about.
yeah, that's
And-
exactly
and
what we were
that's-
talking about.
This is what we're talking about, and this
I
is
watched it though.
this is a small this is a very small taste of something that's completely relevant and relatable
I'm
to
not
what.
trashing this. I didn't trash this.
he's been better on this than I was anticipating. I'll
I-
give him that.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay,
yeah, I
that's-
give him
okay,
that.
that's
Like
fair.
he's not
That's
just
fair.
Wikipedia.
Hey, you
yeah,
can't
I
force
love
me
the
to
part.
like it, but I at least
No,
gave
no,
it
no,
a
no.
chance.
Yeah. that's fair. And you show appreciation for it. I understand it didn't have an entertainment value towards
The
you.
style of it.
It's
didn't
not
get
for
me.
everybody. Like
that's the
the
thing.
way it is
No.
put together.
It was
I
infused
think-
with documentary footage, and that I appreciate
it's
the
exciting.
ambition.
So do
appreciate
I am entertained by this.
Yeah.
But I'm also
because of like
I'm obsessed with film history and
yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like that. That it does add a layer to my enjoyment of these things.
I just I think it's but it's edited like quickly, so it doesn't.
It's exciting. You don't know what's gonna happen from one scene to the next. These people are like they're doing something cool, just like they did in Nightcrawler.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He's going around film.
Just like they did Nightcrawler, but just turned up to 11 in Nightcrawler, much better.
Well, I doubt most people think that.
Oh.
Just to be honest.
And Nightcrawler doesn't have real footage like this one does.
Yeah.
Oh.
But Jake Gyllenhaal is good in it.
Yes.
He is good in it.
Yeah. I mean,
He sure is.
Jordan is a Nightcrawler hater now.
No.
He is.
Yeah, he is.
I own Nightcrawler. I love Nightcrawler.
So Nick, what would you give it at least?
I would give medium cool, medium drool, 2 out of 5. Because that's what I wanted to do about 3/4 of the way.
whole time.
What did you give Dirty Grandpa?
0.5.
Okay. Me too.
2 out of 5. I gave Independence Day Resurgence 2.5 out of 5.
Just depends on
Because
what.
it's more important.
Yeah.
No, but I enjoyed Independence Day Resurgence a little bit more than this. That's kind of where I rate.
If Will Smith was in,
I would have knocked it up to a 3.
So you would rather watch like paint thrown at a wall or like trash montage than
I felt like I was watching paint at a wall at parts in this movie.
Well, you were looking at a dick dance around for.
I did laugh. That made me feel something. At least I laughed.
Wait, that made you feel something,
when I
not
saw
the rest
Robert
of the
Forster's
movie.
fucking schlong bouncing around and he was acting all goofy and stuff.
Jackie Brown's
Jackie Brown's fucking meat sticks swapping around there.
What does that shot remind you of? Because it reminds me of something very specifically. A very fucked up scene.
What, when his dick's flopping around?
Yeah. Just the shot in general. It makes me think of
Brown Bunny.
Bruno.
Yeah, it makes me think of the rape scene in A Clockwork Orange.
I was going to say Clockwork Orange.
Yeah.
It definitely feels
just
like
the
that.
way it's shot,
and
it's very
dances around.
It dances around.
And
Obviously,
it's like,
doesn't have the impact at all or anything like that. But
Right.
you know, when you see.
I understand that wasn't that big of a deal. That scene. I just thought
Like
it was
in the
funny
whole
because of
movie.
Robert
But
Forster.
I think it was.
Oh,
like, yeah,
like in
that
the
wasn't
world.
Yeah.
the fact
Yeah,
that
but
it was
as
so
far as the movie goes, it doesn't really
and
matter.
not like
unflinching.
Yeah, exactly. It didn't and it didn't
I was
make it a
surprised by
thing.
it.
Yeah.
That's why I laughed.
Well, for a bit, I thought before it flat out like showed because it showed his butt beforehand,
Yeah.
and I thought it was just his underwear, and he was wearing see-through underwear. He just had like a tan line.
Yeah.
see-through underwear.
I don't know what he's into. Robert Forster.
Yeah.
It's a
And you saw a
documentary.
huge 60s
Well,
bush.
well, did you? Okay, here's some Easter eggs. Did you see the deleted footage of him tucking it in and walking around?
No, I didn't. I didn't see that.
It's not real.
That
thing.
was part of the director's cut.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, the Criterion Collection.
No Easter eggs on this one, except for the fact that there was a guy in
I
it
think
named
the
Peter
fact
Boners.
that it's real
Who the hell is that guy?
footage is a pretty cool Easter egg, but
What's
Yeah.
that?
I think the real riot footage is a cool Easter egg.
Yeah, I
didn't know that until after the movie.
Yeah. Oh, really?
I thought it
I didn't know
felt.
that
I thought
until
it
after
felt
the-
real.
I might have.
I thought
liked
it
more.
could have been real, but I didn't
Oh,
know
really?
for sure
I
that
think.
it was real.
I wonder why.
I like well even from the beginning I didn't know what medium cool was when I watched it. I didn't know it was a mixture. And when it started after the first scene of the car crash and it had people talking and it felt very documentary style, and I was like, what the fuck? And I paused it and I Wikipedia'd it and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
It
What
is
is
a blend.
medium cool? Like what is?
Medium.
it was
Okay, like the
television.
medium you
Okay.
use.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
All right.
Or like I know there's something in journalism
never
that
thought
refers
that.
to hot and cool
Yeah,
too
yeah.
that I can't exactly remember.
Yeah.
But I think I should look this up because
Yeah.
I think it's kind of important. But I think the title's awesome.
Yeah.
And I think
I like it. Yeah.
And I do like the cinematography. There's nothing before that. The way the camera moves, it feels. I think we were taking it for granted because it feels like a news or like documentary style camera work where it doesn't cut from after the action. You know, it sort of lingers a little bit. It moves around. It shows their feet walking through mud, and it pulls it back.
it's experimental and informational.
Yeah.
When does that ever happen?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I really do think that like
And it's real fucked up with Robert Kennedy. Was that the kitchen that he was killed in?
I don't
Because
know.
Possible.
there's a scene. It's sitting in the kitchen and it's talking. I think it's the speech that he said before he was killed, It's him talking off screen.
Oh.
And it's sitting in a kitchen.
When they listen to the speech.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know. Nick has a face like.
No.
I thought you were gonna say something
listening
fucked
to you.
up. Like I don't know. I thought
we
you were gonna
heard. We know what time it was.
Yeah.
1968 was the convention.
Who died in August of 1968?
Was it Kennedy?
It could have been.
I don't remember.
Was
When
Martin
did they
Luther King dead at the point during the movie?
That's
I
interesting.
believe so.
Because those two died
They talk-
similarly.
Yeah. They
similar
talk about.
time frames.
They refer to both of them for sure. You see a photo of each of them in that movie.
Yeah, I June 6th, 1968.
Who?
Kennedy.
That's not. Well, the convention was after.
Okay.
When did MLK die? We can cut
Yeah,
this
okay.
down a little. Don't worry. But I do wanna just know this.
I don't know. But
Okay, was I the only one that gave my rating?
yeah. So what did you think about it, Ben?
I give it a 3 out of 5. I'd say it's like a hard 3, though. I'd say it's borderline 3.5. Thought it was interesting. It was technically
And you
cool.
appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciated it. It's definitely a little hard to watch. Like, sometimes it's a little incoherent
I feel
at
you.
times.
He was looking up Stranger Things shit on his phone while he was watching it.
No, it wasn't. I enjoyed
What were you
it,
looking
though.
up on your phone? Are you ready to look some stuff up on your phone Saturday?
You were looking up shit while we were doing this podcast. So.
He was probably FaceTiming and texting and shit.
Probably.
He's thinking about the time. He
What?
he was thinking about the time he was watching Crash.
Yeah, okay.
How about you, Ian?
I would give it a 3.5. Again, I was really into it, but it's
Say I was
It's
really
not
into it,
for
but I wasn't.
everybody.
no,
like the way
and it's not.
made.
I'm probably not going to be like I'm going to put it in tonight
It's not
after
an
I talk
easy
to you
watch,
guys,
but
you know?
it is an important.
But no,
watch.
it's really good. Yeah, I'd give it a 3.5.
I would give it a 4. I think it's something that I will continue to think about
Oh,
and talk about.
that's true.
And I cannot.
That's true.
It's
like,
a movie
it's
I
stuck
won't
in my head,
soon
and
forget.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen anything like it.
Yeah, it's a movie that.
I'll stick with my 3.5 though.
Yeah, I
It's
just.
a hard 3.5.
It's important
Could
in
be
so
swayed
many.
with another watch.
It's
Like
important in
Citizen
so many
Kane, that
ways.
shit's for the birds.
Like Citizen Kane is a perfect fucking movie.
But that's
So-
another episode.
Yes.
We're gonna
right.
We'll do perfect movies or something like that.
We should. That's
Yeah.
a good idea.
So what are we doing next, Jordan?
Okay,
Since
next.
this is your month.
Yeah. Next, we're gonna talk about the end of the American New Wave and 2 films that were part of that. And I think we're gonna talk about Sorcerer, William Friedkin's movie,
Ooh, I've never seen that.
which is a
Me either.
another adaptation of The Wages of Fear,
Mm-hmm.
but not a remake of that movie.
Yeah.
Is how he describes it. And I think we're gonna do Coming Home by Hal Ashby's Vietnam
You heard
War
it here,
movie.
folks.
What is
You
this?
heard it here. He made that decision as we were recording.
What is it?
Coming Home.
The
Has
hell is that? Seriously, what is it?
He just said it.
It's a John Voight Vietnam era movie.
Okay.
It's gonna be like anti-war. It's late
Who's
70s.
directing it?
Hal Ashby.
Okay.
He made Harold and Maude.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of the other one.
Nah.
It's like
Yeah.
shampoo
Yeah.
and a couple.
Pert Plus or fucking Pantene Pro V.
He made Being There, dude. He's one of the greatest
he?
directors of the 70s, and you've never heard of
Is
him?
he?
I've heard of him, but I don't think
To
I've
be
ever
or not
seen
to be.
anything.
Yeah. Well,
Up for
I've only seen some of Being There, and I've seen Harold and Maude.
I've never finished Harold and Maude. I've watched it
I
a
love Harold and Maude.
couple times. I mean, I liked what I saw. Just never.
I wanted to do Heaven's Gate, but
God, we aren't. And
Well,
I'm serious.
But luckily, we have this 3rd episode in
Yeah.
September,
Yeah.
which who knows? Someone might email us
No.
and say Heaven's Gate.
please, somebody, come,
No,
somebody
don't
out
fucking
there.
email.
If
Anotherlookpod at
We only get
gmail.com. We're doing it. Anotherlookpod at gmail.com.
and yeah,
And if you don't feel like emailing us, if you're
Yeah.
friends with us on Facebook and you want to comment on one of our posts about the podcast,
Yeah.
just let us know,
or
and we'll
in person, you
we'll
know, just give
decide.
us some suggestions.
Yeah, we just need some. We need some things to pull from.
Yep.
And we want We
Want
think it's-
differing
Yeah,
opinions.
we think
I
it's a
think
cool
okay,
idea.
okay.
Get
We'll
you
do
guys
Heaven's
in
Gate
on
and Corky Romano.
Okay. If Heaven's Gate was shorter, I wouldn't even care one bit if we did it. But God damn it,
I
do
just-
not want
I
to watch a movie for 6 hours.
The reason I pick it is because it is literally the stamp of the grave
Well,
of the.
it'll be stamped in my fucking grave if I have to watch it for 6
I have a
hours.
question.
Well, you can choose not to do this if you're going to complain every
Yeah.
time.
Well,
if you want.
Well, this is what I have a question because I was reading this and I don't know how true this
Okay.
is, but did movies like Star Wars and Jaws, like the brand, like that brought the
Blockbusters,
blockbuster
yep.
back? Is that like part of why this movement like started to fizzle out a little bit?
Absolutely.
Because they're
100%,
Yeah,
which is stuff we will go into.
at
next
the-
time.
Yeah,
Next time.
because at this time, studios were not as they were falling.
They were taking risks.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Star Wars and Jaws and things like that are part of those risks.
Yeah, true.
To be honest, it's just
Profitable risks. But
Yeah.
how exactly. Because like the younger studio heads were taking risks on directors that were making movies, and then we'll see where it goes next time.
Woo.
Next time,
Until next time.
Please email anotherlookpod@gmail.com.
suggestions.
Yeah.
Heaven's Gate.
Yeah,
No,
give us multiple suggestions. We'll comb through them and pick which.
We'll pick
Do
Heaven's
not
Gate.
pick Heaven's Gate because I'll start creating email addresses.
Heaven's Gate. I know how to figure out if he's creating
Oop,
email.
I just got an
addresses.
email right now. It says Heaven's Gate.
No.
It says Nick Leyland, bassrockstar@gmail.com. Oh, I want you guys to watch Heaven's Gate. All right. Thank you.